that, as much as we try really, 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 really hard to say, no, we're exactly the same. Men and women are exactly the same. We're not. Biologically, we're different. Neurologically, our brains operate differently. Our brains are actually structured physically differently. Our bodies are structured differently. We're wired to see things differently. And that's a good thing, because if not, then, there'd be no need for us to complement one another. The problem is that when someone says we're different, there are some of us who have been ingrained in this Marxist mindset that we don't even realize that it's happened, because we've been in the public school for so long that we say, if there's a difference, yeah, well then that must mean that one's better than the other. There is no better or worse. Who's better, men or women? There are better men and better women, but neither of those two sexes are better or worse. Is it a good thing for people to be held accountable? Well, to a degree, I suppose. But have you never done anything stupid, anything silly, or anything ridiculous, or anything you wish you could take back? As it is now, you can't take much back, because everybody sees it. It's videoed everywhere, which means that you don't have and I'm not saying in the sense of relationships, but in the sense of just life generally, we don't have the willingness to take risks. And we do stupid shit, man. I just saw this video of a dude, I don't know how many of you guys saw this, but it's in Wisconsin, I think it is. It's an older guy, he's like 52. He's out like river rafting or something, or inner tubing, and he drops his phone, I guess, in the river. So he goes back to try to find it. And when he goes back, he finds like a bunch of guys, like 18, 19, like high school. I think they're all like high school or college, and they're football players. And they start like messing with the dude, and he's just kind of trying to find his phone. So then they start, and they're recording this whole thing, and they're like going on, like one guy slaps him, and he's like, and they shove him down, and they're saying like, oh, he's over here trying to video record girls, little girls. So then people hear that, and like this mob of people come over, like, what the hell is going on? None of it's true. They're just talking bad shit. So as they surround the guy pulls a knife and stabs a couple of them, and one of them dies right there in the river. It's my messed up sense of humor, I guess, but it's funny to see how fast people go from, oh my God, what the fuck, this, oh no, that they're so like, yeah, let's get this guy. And all of a sudden, when the knife comes out or gun comes out, they're shocked by this, and all of a sudden the camera gets bad and they're running away. And it's also funny to me, and I do actually mean that sardonically funny, that this dude is stabbed and he's like bleeding out of his stomach. He's like standing there, fumbling backwards, and then he falls down. And the river's not deep; it's like ankle deep. So he's in the water. And how many of his friends have now run over there to help him? Not one. They're letting him die there. And it isn't like the guy standing there, guarding the body with a knife. They're all just afraid of the fact that this just happened, and they're trying to get as far away from it as possible. And they're even like filming the body in the river. Now, when they actually charge the guy with first-degree murder, strangely enough, even though it's on video that he's being assaulted by a group of people. And the witnesses, it's been like 2 years, so the witnesses are there, and they're asking them like, did you see him recording girls? No, he couldn't have. He didn't have his phone. He was looking for his phone, remember? And then the defense attorney is asking, then why did you say that? I don't recall saying that. It's on the video. You're saying it right there. You're accusing him of recording little girls. Oh, why'd you say that? I was trying to figure out what was going on. And that was literally his answer. I was trying to figure out what was going on. So you're trying to figure out what's going on until you accuse him of that? Yes. It's like, where do you think they got that behavior of learning that that's what you do? You accuse people of things. Because there's video after video after video online of that. And so it's like a few years ago we didn't know what to call people when we didn't like them, so we called them Nazis. And then that's kind of gotten old, so now we call them something else. And then that will get old, and we'll call them something else. And we'll think that we're being a hero by calling somebody, oh my God, he's recording, he's a pedo. But you'll still go listen to Diddy, right? You'll still like Michael Jackson, right? You'll still like R. Kelly, right? You'll still like, we can go down the line of people. But that's all different. Why? Because if you can sing and dance, we'll forget anything. Yeah. But my point is just that with everything, it's difficult to become what it is that what you could be what you should be, because in order to do that, you've got to make mistakes. I'm not saying, surround people and accuse them of things and then get stabbed as a stepping stone to maturity. What I'm saying is that we feel like we're constantly under observation. And it was bad when I was a teenager, that we always felt like, people were always watching us, but now everybody really, really, really is, and recording it. And so, how do you change? How do you change for the better when you don't have a chance to make mistakes and find out? Because part of what's important for making a change is feeling a level of guilt, making a mistake, feeling bad about it, and not wanting to ever feel that way again. If you never get a chance to make those mistakes, if you never get a chance and again, there's a fine line there. I'm not saying you should go out and stab people and then feel bad about it and therefore decide I will never stab a person again. But I'm saying those little things or just little tiny screw-ups. It's difficult.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
People are not Build-A-Bears. I like you just the way you are, except for...
Just a little bit, just do this.
Well, because there are certain things that you should change about a person. Like, for example, I was at a funeral not too long ago, and a dude shows up and he's wearing a SpongeBob hoodie. And this guy is with his girlfriend and he's wearing a SpongeBob hoodie. Whose fault is that? No, it's someone's fault. Should you show up to a funeral wearing a goddamn SpongeBob hoodie? Grow up, dude. Move out of your parents' basements. Sorry. The guy was probably in his late 20s, like 20, maybe 30. Sorry, that's important to this. I'm not saying like a 9-year-old shows up wearing a SpongeBob hoodie. But a dude in his late 20s, even mid-20s, even early 20s, you show up to a funeral wearing a SpongeBob hoodie. If you're a dude right now and you're like, what's the problem? That's part of the problem. But if you get to that point, who's to blame? I blame the girlfriend. She didn't sit there and look at him and go change the hoodie. Why? What's wrong with the hoodie? You're not wearing a goddamn SpongeBob hoodie to a funeral. Go put on a shirt and tie like a normal man. Oh, good looking out. Because sometimes you leave things to people, they're gonna do what they do because they don't know any better. Do you think that guy sat there and was like, it'd be funny if I wore a SpongeBob hoodie to the funeral? That'd be funny. Oh, do you think he looked at himself and was like, sick? No, he didn't think anything of it. He just grabbed what was in his closet. But there are things like that as much as we try really, 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 really hard to say, no, we're exactly the same. Men and women are exactly the same. We're not. Biologically, we're different. Neurologically, our brains operate differently. Our brains are actually structured physically differently. Our bodies are structured differently. We're wired to see things differently. And that's a good thing, because if not, then, there'd be no need for us to complement one another. The problem is that when someone says we're different, there are some of us who have been ingrained in this Marxist mindset that we don't even realize that it's happened because we've been in the public school for so long that we say, if there's a difference, yeah, well then that must mean that one's better than the other. There is no better or worse. Who's better, men or women? Yes, bless you. There are better men and better women, but neither of those two sexes are better or worse. The same. Even when we say things like, well, I'll leave it at that, but the point is not to have one that's better than the other. The point is that there are some things that both sides are not good at. Nothing is everything. Nothing is everything. There are men who are more emotional. Women. So I'm thinking of some guy I saw this morning. I just thought, how do you look at that? Anyway, there are some men who are more emotional, some women who are more aggressive, blah blah blah. But I'm talking about across the spectrum. There are these things that are complementary. They're not better, they're not worse, but there are things that you need both sides for. Do you think I dress like this on purpose? Yeah.
I don't react, but I was gonna say, I kind of understand why you would blame the girlfriend. Because one, okay, here's why I kind of would not. Because one, it's not really like, I would argue that it's not her responsibility.
Of course, because you're a girl, right, guys? Guys? Sorry, they're all they're AirPods in. Go ahead.
I would argue that it's not like the girlfriend's responsibility to sort of parent and like coach the boyfriend. Because I hear from my friend a lot that she's, I'm so tired of being like my boyfriend's mother because he does a lot of dumb stuff all the time and I have to make sure he doesn't do anything. But at the same time, it's like, you're staying with him knowing that he's so childish and knowing that he's like this, so you don't do anything to prevent it.
Sorry, can someone help out whoever's playing the music too loud? I'm like bopping it up here. Whoever's sitting next to him, help him out. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of the both. Like it shouldn't be your responsibility to like parent your boyfriend, but at the same time, it's like you know how he is, and you know.
I think that's part of it.
You know
Yeah. And by the way, there is that's another thing that I hear a lot today. Like, if a guy does something stupid and then a girl's like, I don't want to be his mom. Not every piece of advice that you give is being someone's mom. It's just like if you're a girl and you're and your dude defends you, God, I want to have to be her dad. It's not being the dad to defend somebody. It's not being the mom to say, I have these sensibilities that you don't have. You know? I don't know. Maybe you guys know something like that, like a dude who just like dresses whatever, and then like his girlfriend comes along and fixes up the way he dresses, and he's like totally different. Yeah, why, and that's not being his mom. That's like, why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he know that? Because he doesn't know it looks good. What's that? Yeah.
Okay, but come on, SpongeBob really did a funeral.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's like I saw somebody who wore at that same funeral a woman who wore a red dress, and I was like, damn, that's a color of defiance right there. That person's giving the middle finger to death. Some people are like, oh, why would you wear red to a funeral? And I said, because she's giving the finger to death. That's why. You know? And then it kind of looked at me and shook their head because you're supposed to wear all black at a funeral. You will not find me wearing all black at a funeral. You'll see me wearing a dope ass tie, for sure though. Because there's one thing in life I have, it's dope ass ties.